Thank you, Madam Timers. Our next speaker, John Durant. Change is inevitable. Change is inevitable. John Durant.
Beware of the Ides of March, a fatal forecast for Julius Caesar. But what about the rest of us? Do you think you can survive March 15th unscathed? The statisticians tell us it's not likely. A full 80% of us will abandon our New Year's resolutions by March 15th. They're just as dead as Caesar, but not by way of dagger, by forgetfulness, by lack of motivation, and by frustration. But does it have to be this way? Let's find out now. Contest volunteers, fellow contestants, ladies and gentlemen. This morning you are going to hear about 3 simple practices that promise to help you achieve your resolutions, your goals, and your dreams. Bold words. My greatest critic heard this from me, and he said, after he scoffed, "Well, Papa, if these things will work for anybody, how about doing something about that damn cat?" I was caught in a quandary betwixt an unstoppable force of these 3 simple practices and an immovable object, the 7-year-old tomcat that we had. He had recently got in a scrape with a neighborhood cat, you know, a wore whiskers, a midnight molly, and he was confined to the house. He was convalescent and on antibiotics, potentially on his last of his 9 lives. I didn't know Dr. Marr at the time. I wanted to accept the challenge, but I was befuddled. How could I apply this to this cat? Took a few days, but then I came up with it. The light went on. I'm using this light bulb to help explain, help you remember the first of these three practices. It represents awareness. When you are aware of what you're striving for, when you are constantly conscious of it, you will naturally align to your goals, inhibiting diversions. The second of these practices are represented with this carrot and this stick. They represent consequences. When you can apply positive and negative reinforcement to your actions, your positive actions will compound and reinforce, and your negative actions will fade away. The third of these steps necessary for change, represented by these baby shoes. Baby shoes are great for taking tiny little steps. When you're taking tiny steps towards your goal, you are making progress. You can probably make several steps at a time. And over time, that progress will compound and accelerate you towards your goal. But there is still the conundrum of the immovable cat. And it took a few days, but then I realized what needed to be done. Anytime I heard the cat scratching in his litter box, I simply followed the cat into the bathroom and closed the door behind us, effectively incarcerating the little guy until he had mastered that daily lesson. It was time for change, and you are here for the duration. Additionally, of course, I gave him lots of pets and encouragement, and maybe occasionally a little bit of catnip. For the small steps, this was the big challenging thing. How can you translate it to a small enough steps that a 7-year-old tomcat will play along? And I had it. I went to Walmart and got a $2 roasting pan, aluminum roasting pan that I bent and conformed to fit inside of the toilet bowl. And it rested on the toilet rim. I filled it with litter. The cat jumped up to the new placement of his litter box, seemingly not even noticing that he was being trained. After a couple days, I cut a small hole in the bottom of that pan, and again, the cat didn't even seem to notice. After several days, he was running out of real estate and maybe had a paw up in the toilet seat, but by the end of the month, he was fully up on the seat, squatting over the bowl, and relieving himself like the rest of the members of the family. If truth be told, it took less time to train the cat than it took to potty train my son, David. Change is inevitable. My question for you this morning is, where are you interested in applying these 3 techniques? Madam Toastmaster.